Alright, guys, so, um, this might be a bit of a longer video. I'm not really sure yet. We'll just see where it cuts off at the time point, but I just want to talk about a lot of things. Let's start back in mid September. I made a video where I was talking about how I was taking a break from pretty much every single psychoactive substance. The only things I really did other than that after I took that hiatus was every once in a while some weed and then alcohol. But I think because I've always kind of been someone with an addictive personality, I'm not gonna try to downplay it. It is what it is. I think we all have our faults here, but one of my downfalls is I do have a very addictive personality. When I discover a new thing that I really enjoy, I get really into it. Like, obscenely into it. So I kind of, as a kid, I remember having like these infatuations with certain things for months on end. Um, but anyways, I just started popping pills at 14 just because everybody else was doing it. And I was more of a music guy growing up, and sometimes arts. I like to draw back in the day. I haven't drawn a picture in years. Like, I have not drawn a single image in years. Except for that Shadow People video thing. But that's probably the first image I've drawn in 6 years? 7 years? Um, but I thought it would help out my creativity, but all opiates really seem to ever do in the long run would be make me lazy and pass out. So I didn't really do any substances after I got arrested for that until I hit about 16. So about a year later, I started drinking. Now, it wasn't an everyday thing. It'd be like every few days. And then sometimes, like, then it developed into an everyday thing. I wouldn't drink to the point to where I got drunk, but I would drink to the point of tipsiness. When I did my homework in high school, especially my math homework. So I would do my math homework tipsy because for some reason I always got better grades when I did it somewhat intoxicated as opposed to when I did it sober. And it was weird because it helped me retain the mathematic principles better. I don't. It's weird to describe, but it's just how it worked. Um, then, you know, I kind of slowed down when I hit 17. I'd only drink on occasion. I think in recent memory, 17, when I was 17, that's probably the most I've been sober in my life. Um, I probably did the least shit in those days. And then I hit 18 and I started drinking again. And I was a senior, so I tried to structure myself. I'd only drink on the weekends or when there was like a snow day the next day. But then that summer I kind of went out of hand, and then my first semester of college I was fucking drunk as soon as I got home. I would just start slamming them and do my homework. I left college, and then about 2 months passed after I left college. I'm trying to find a job. And I walk in from hanging out with a friend, and I see my mom crying. I see my dad crying. and I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Well, this is the moment my dad told my mom he needed a break. So I automatically thought they were getting divorced. Well, they split up for a while. That took a toll on me. I know at 19, because at that point I was 19. I know at 19 I probably shouldn't have taken it as hard as I did, but it really killed me seeing my mom take it so hard. And it kind of pissed me off because my dad threw me into this predicament. I'm on a farm setting. We're very archaic in our ways. I was never really properly taught how to handle blizzards and other things. My dad left in February 2016. The following, I think, 2 days after that, we had a massive blizzard. And I remember that the snow blower was broken. So I'm sitting out there, and mind you, this is like Great Lakes region, so the lake effect snow's in effect. I'm trudging through like 4 foot tall snow on the ground, shoveling it. And I just remember panting really hard and blacking out and waking up 25 minutes later and realizing I had just passed out. But I kind of still have some resentment towards my father for kind of leaving me high and dry. But also it's weird. It's kind of contradictory because I do also thank him for that because I think it made me more of an adaptable person in the long run. And yes, my father eventually came back. But it started becoming difficult to sleep at night because my mind would race about this situation. And I would start to fear that my dad might be seeing other people, just like average paranoia around this. So I started drinking hardcore because I realized, like, I remember one night I got really drunk and I knocked out immediately. Well, I like this idea because I like being able to get drunk at like 1 in the morning and being able to still wake up early. Because I don't know if anybody else has that issue or that not issue, but experience with alcohol. If you get drunk really late at night, you'll like wake up at like 5:30 in the morning and with no hangover. I really don't ever get hangovers all that often. So after that, I slowly started to realize I have a problem. So I started taking other substances because I was afraid, like, the damage I was doing to my body with alcohol. People play it off, like, when I tell them, like, I think I have a drinking problem. They play it off as, like, oh, you're just young, your insides are fine. They don't realize that I'm, like, putting down, like, a case and a half a night. Like a 12-pack, not like a 24-pack. And it really got that bad at certain points. I remember last winter, in fact, I was, a lot of those videos, and I'm not proud to admit this, but a lot of those videos I was either drunk or nearly drunk because I would just go into these bouts of consuming large quantities of whiskey. So my reasoning was because the it's not airtight in here. So when it's winter, there's cracks in these walls. The cold air gets in, and it feels horrible. I was on my bed shaking every night thinking I was about to die. It wasn't fun. So I started drinking the whiskey because it made me feel warm. But really, if alcohol, it kind of lowers your temperature. People seem to think smoking's gonna warm them up too, but that actually restricts your blood vessels and will make you more cold in the cold weather. So yeah, I mean, ever since I was 16, I've been struggling with a bit of a drinking problem, and dare I say it, I don't know if I'm technically alcoholic. Maybe you could say part-time alcoholic. Like, I don't go into work drunk. I've gone into work still drunk, but I haven't gone into work drunk. So I guess maybe part-time alcoholic would be a more adequate label. But I started taking all these other substances, and in that video I realized, none of these really made me that creative. I mean, certain weed strains actually did help me out in being creative. But a lot of these substances just seem to be things to take my mind off of life things. Like that video where I got really mad the other day. I was thinking about an old friend who is a convicted felon. Don't really want to speak more on that, but the things that were the allegations that were made on him were kind of hard to stomach, and I wanted to believe so bad he didn't do it, and then I found out that person did do it, and it just sent me through a loop. So I don't know why. I guess I'm just over empathetic with people that I really did care about. I do feel a bit betrayed on trust because of that. But I basically needed to take a break from psychoactives so I could face these problems head on. And whether that means venting on YouTube or not, it's really whatever. It doesn't make or break. I mean, some people think I'm being melodramatic, and there's even more stuff than what I've put out there. When I feel like I'm at a point where I'm better, like completely better, I will make a video discussing everything I've beat myself up for. And it's a lot of stuff. And there's a lot of stuff done to me that isn't so kosher, I guess. A lot of stuff I don't think you would suspect. So really, I guess I'm kind of like a victim who's trying to shove it back up the other people's ass. Because I'm tired of being the victim. I'm tired of feeling so sad all the time. I refuse to get medicated. I don't really think it has anything to do with my neurochemistry. It's just a large span of things across my life that I need to deal with accordingly. There's certain aspects of my personality I don't like that I need to work on. My behavior, like my incredibly addictive personality. Other things like that. Like, I need to let things go, too. I have a hard time letting things go. I've gotten over the grudge thing. I used to hold, like, eternal grudges, but yeah. So that really wraps it up for the psychoactive break thing. I don't know if it's ended. There's some things I would like to do, just because I think it could help out in a more therapeutic way, not just to get high. And since I'm so close to 21, actually, this is the point I realized I needed to stop. And actually, the day of that video where I made where I said I was taking that break, I was in the car with one of my best friends, Max, and I was telling him, like, dude, I'm afraid I'm gonna die soon. And we talked a little bit, and I realized I needed to stop at that point. So, like, I would smoke a lot of weed, I get really drunk, and this was like a nightly ritual for a long time. And I would take this. This is finely ground Amanita muscaria. And if you don't know what that is basically kind of more of a deliriant mushroom with psychoactive effects. Classic mushroom, red cap, tiny little white spots all over it. And I make a tea out of it. So what I would do is I put a little bit of whiskey in, I put a little bit of that tea in, and then I put a little bit of stout in, and I mix that up along with weed. And it was like a borderline psychoactive experience or psychedelic experience every night. One time it kind of did cross the threshold. And this is the point I kind of realized I probably shouldn't be doing this anymore. So I was at work after doing this the night before. And I don't know if it was just a combination of substances that made me do this, or there's two psychoactive compounds counteracted in a way that I don't know of, or what. But I kind of felt like I was in a daze for that next day. And that smoky effect that Amanita muscaria gives was still present in my vision, but at a mild tone. But I remember freaking out because I kept looking at the tree line, like the forest behind my work. And, you know, it was getting to be the point of fall, but none of the leaves were orange or anything yet. But I'd look at them, and every once in a while, they'd flicker, and all those leaves would be orange. So I started going a little insane in my head, thinking, am I always going to be doing this from now on? Like, if this stops, I really need to slow my roll. If this doesn't stop, I'm fucked. In terms of, like, these weird visual hallucinations. So I realized I needed to stop. And then I stopped. I just, like I said previously, I need to focus on dealing with my problems head on instead of using substances to run away from them. And my whole life, I've been kind of they've kind of served other purposes, like, oh, it helps me go to bed. But I think at the end of the day, those were deep, subconscious type of excuses to continue taking them. And like I told S-Man Speaks in a stream I did with him, I don't feel as smart as I used to be. When I started this channel, I don't feel nearly as smart. Now, people still think I'm intelligent and whatever. Like, I appreciate it, I guess. But I feel kind of dumb now, honestly. It makes me sad because I used to pride my intelligence back when I started this channel, and I feel like I've destroyed it. Now, I still feel somewhat smart, but I'm just saying I don't feel as smart as I used to be. My drive to learn new things kind of went out the window. I don't have that adventurous, curious personality anymore. And I'm trying to get that back, basically. I'm trying to forget the past and all that. I guess that kind of closes up once and for all the psychoactive portion of this video. I kind of want to move on, like, the future of this channel. After I recorded that popping off video, I kind of thought about taking, like, a several month long hiatus from YouTube. But I decided against that. Because my original reasoning was I've been living in the past so long, and this channel kind of reinforces it, because I was living in the past on this channel a lot this year. But I just need to actively change it every time I get the chance. So after this video will be the last time you hear me bitch about personal problems, until I feel like I'm better, and I'll literally give you the whole big shebang, the life story of every fucking thing that fucked me up a little bit more. But I'm gonna cool it on the trip reports. There are some that I have not made yet due to me not being 21, but as soon as next Thursday hits, I'll be able to talk about that completely. Like the one I just talked about with the 3 substance bender thing going on there, but I didn't talk about it as in depth on purpose. But I would like to get back into political commentary. I kind of feel like I want to do more stuff with music on this channel too. Like, I want to teach people. I want to be more cohesive in teaching people how to make beats and stuff. Because when I was like 16, nobody really did it in a way that I really understood. So I'd like to be helping people a little bit more with that type of stuff. And probably some other stuff too. Like, I know a lot of people wouldn't think this, but and call me stupid or whatever, but I really do believe in astrology. Sue me. Reading my natal chart, reading my sign, it goes beyond the realm of coincidence for me. So I might make videos regarding that too. But yeah, I mean, I just can't continue to live in the way I was living. And the past few days I've been making an effort to try to get over that. Now, Halloween, I had a pretty shitty Halloween. I nearly broke down crying at work thinking about one of these things. But like I said, I'll divulge that later. But I'm doing better, and I'm really sorry for being selfish with this channel. You guys don't want to see me bitch about my problems. So I'm going to stop bitching about my problems and give you guys entertainment or intellectually stimulating content. Because I feel like this year I had big plans, but I shut it down the drain as far as YouTube's concerned. And I kind of feel like I robbed you guys of your time. So I'm going to try to make it up to you with these last few months, last 2 months really, of 2017 and with 2018. No plans yet for 2018, but I'm sure I'll come up with something. But anyways, thank you for listening to my long ramble. I appreciate it. Once again, I'm sorry. I will see you next time.